Welcome to Mundelein Minute.
Hey!
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
You know, it dawned on me Monday night at the board meeting that it had been like literally a month since I had seen you. I hadn't seen you at an event.
That's not nice. You're making me look bad like I'm in hiding.
No, we're in just different places at different times. I mean, that's why we haven't gotten together and filmed a Mundelein Minute, is because we are at different places at different times with different jobs, with different family obligations and everything else that's going on. So...
No one warned you that 3 kids is chaos.
Yeah, I've been living that life for years, let me tell you.
Can't do it.
It's crazy.
And my husband's back in the office.
Well, that's...
awful.
Okay. I was just going to leave that hang until you...
How do I record a podcast?
Right, that's true.
And what else? I went back to work, and I have a baby, and then my kids are back at school. Debacle.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's kick this off. My name is Eric Schwenk. I'm a trustee in the Village of Mundelein, and welcome to Mundelein Minute. You are...
I don't know who I am. I'm Kara Lambert, also a trustee here in Mundelein.
In Mundelein. So I forgot to add this part in to the normal podcast because we're obviously out of practice with this. But this is my house, my cameras. There's a very loud cat that's going to join the podcast in just a few minutes.
A kid that walks down the stairs.
A kid that walks down the stairs. My wife's here. There's another kid around. There's a bird. There's a lot going on. So sorry about the noise if that catches in the audio. But also it's my cameras and my microphones, and no taxpayer dollars were used in the creation or distribution of this podcast. And now back to the show. So we're talking about last night's board meeting, which is kind of there's a big topic here that will go into the last 2 board meetings that we didn't get to record an episode. So this is...
Where's your outfit?
I was going to wear a chicken costume. But that's the kid in me that wants to be immature at times, but... At times.
All the time.
But there's also some decorum that has to occur.
Oh, come on!
And I didn't think a chicken costume was appropriate. So we're talking about...
for this meeting, though.
It would have, for the podcast, yes. It absolutely would have. So we're talking about Monday night's board meeting from August 28th, 2023. All the trustees were present.
They were pleasant as well.
They were also pleasant. Very, very nice of them. We did the approval of minutes. There was no public commentary. We moved right into presentations and awards.
There was no public commentary for any of the chicken meetings, by the way.
For not a single chicken meeting?
Not a single one. We had 3 chicken meetings.
Yes, 3 chicken meetings.
This would be the 3rd. Not a single public comment.
Yeah. And we're not saying that anybody's a chicken for not showing up. Just that we didn't get any.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I did get 1 email.
Yeah, we got 1.
In favor.
Yeah, we got 1.
I got nothing else.
I'm kind of disappointed in my husband that he didn't come and do public commentary against them. Oh. I challenged him to that, but he didn't.
Okay. So then, this is going to tell you that this one topic, we went in, I write down times on my agenda of when we move into things. And at 7:03, we moved into discussing Tee It Up. It was a presentation from Tee It Up about moving into the old Village Hall property and that idea. And then the next time was like 7:46. So we talked on this for 40 plus minutes. There was a lot of discussion back and forth. So Tee It Up is a golf simulator business that's being proposed for the old Village Hall property.
It's sick. It's like super cool simulator product.
Yeah, 8 bays of simulators that the ground actually tilts in like 23, 24 directions. You can putt, you can do all kinds of stuff. And I'm not a golf person myself, but I'm a technology nerd. And I looked at this and I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Like, I love it. So as is customary, they come in front of us and present their concept in hopes to get approval that we will give a liquor license or gaming license, or give some feedback as to, hey, if you go this route, you're more likely to get that gaming or that video.
Right. Exactly.
Or anything else. So that's where...
I can't tell when I'm off camera, so you'll just have to yell at me.
Yeah, you can't lean off.
Oh, you didn't do your disclosure.
Oh, okay, I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll go back and edit that in later. The one time I edit this video. So the concept here is that this owner is going to put in the 8 bays of video game of golf.
Calm yourself on that video gaming. Pump your brakes.
And he would like a liquor license to serve alcohol to the patrons, and would also like gaming licenses for machines. And part of those restrictions is that you have to have food available on site. Which
complete meals.
Complete meals. We got that defined during the meeting per our ordinance. And the owner would like to have Taco and Burrito Express, which is right next door, one of my favorite restaurants, shout out to them, and have them bring food when people order it. So they won't have a restaurant on site, but they'll be using somebody else's food to meet that requirement. And
which, if you took gaming out of this and pretended like they didn't want gaming and they just wanted to do this, so cool.
Yes.
Like, love it. Mm-hmm. Live your life with this partnership. So cool.
Right.
But that's not reality.
So, yeah, there's some hoops that we have made every other business in Mundelein jump through. And to create a variance would mean there's a hardship.
Right.
So the other way around that is we create a whole new license. And to me, it's not fair. And
I think it's not fair because, and I brought this up at the meeting, is like Oak Trail Tap House came in with a cold food menu trying to get gaming, and we told them, nope, you have to have complete meals.
Right.
And so then they came back with a revised menu and did the right thing.
And installed a commercial kitchen.
Right.
And there's been other places in town that have worked with local restaurants, not just in Mundelein, but other areas, to bring in food that can be warmed up much easier in convection type ovens, or without the installation of
commercial kitchen. Yeah.
Right, of a full kitchen with a full kitchen staff. Like, there's other ways to work through this. It's just going to take a little bit of creativity, and that's good. That we'll get there. I love this concept. I'm not so thrilled about video gaming. I haven't been in the 4.5 years, and I told the gentleman that I hadn't voted on one, and I'm not going to now. And that's my choice. I don't think it's the best for the community. That's where I stand on it. There's still the votes for the gaming. Right now, surprisingly, the vote was 3-3, and the mayor voting in favor to move forward on this project. So we'll see. That's my very loud cat.
Dang, that's a loud cat.
The votes are there for it to move forward, and those votes can change either in favor or against, so we'll see how this project proceeds. For now, the gentleman's going to apply for a liquor license and gaming licenses and move through the process.
I think, hi, I haven't seen your cat in so long. I think the one thing that stood out to me really is that he talked about the need for it. However, the other simulation places that exist, which is Chicago, Oak Brook,
I don't remember the other one, but yeah, Chicago was the one that got talked about a lot.
And they don't have gaming. So
correct. Because those municipalities don't allow it.
Right. But we do, so it makes sense that of course he'd want it. But to your point, I have not supported a single gaming thing ever, and I told him that, and I told him to stay for the next part of the meeting because we're going to talk about that more. And I just think it's a cool idea. I think he should do it. I'm all in favor of it. I just think that when you add video gaming, you add a little bit of a layer of complexity. You brought up a great point at the end. We've had record number of liquor violations and record number of gaming violations. So
the last few years have been rough.
You're going to introduce a whole level of complexity to your business.
Yeah, and the other side of the gaming, which was talked about, was the way that the gentleman was proposing gaming in the establishment. Wasn't, for lack of a better word, safe. It wasn't cordoned off in an area that kids couldn't get to. It was right out there in the open next to the golfing simulators. It was just not what is required to meet the ordinance for sectioned off gaming. Yeah.
All right, so that's a synopsis of 47 minutes of discussion.
Yeah, that almost took us 47 minutes.
Yeah, no, we're long-winded.
We'll move on here. It's Mundelein Minute, not Mundelein 47 minutes.
Worst.
I know.
We forgot how to do this, actually. That's why. So.
Okay, so no public hearings, and then the mayor's report. The first one was an additional gaming machine request for Teddy O'Brien's. And
that's how I feel about it.
You brought up an interesting point that they had 4 machines, went down to 3 machines, and now requesting a 4th.
And they weren't even there to talk about it.
And they weren't there to talk about it.
I still have so many questions.
And it passed 4-2.
Whatever.
Yep.
Moving on.
So then we did some amending ordinances for regulating traffic. So this is in the Holcomb subdivision.
This was as a result of the community asking for it.
Yep.
Asked. done. Traffic study, Officer Pointer, that guy is a boss because he did the traffic study down by Washington and this one, and he gets things done.
He does. And this one took a little bit of time, but it was a good study that showed it was necessary.
Yep.
And next was chickens.
Fuck.
So the last several board meetings had, let's step back 2 board meetings ago, the chicken ordinance came forward for discussion. So this was to give staff some idea of where to go to draft.
Can we back that up?
The ordinance.
This started
Like, how far
a
back
year and a half ago.
Well, it was even a conversation.
Well, I mean,
joined the board.
Right.
4.5 years ago.
We sat down seriously and we wrote an ordinance a year and a half ago. Me and former trustee Capichuela sat down with staff, collected a ton of data from everywhere, and tried to figure out A, what we could get through the board because we knew that it was going to be controversial, and B, like what would be a good way to like kind of dip our toes in. So. Yeah,
and it's not perfect.
It is not perfect, and I don't want people to be mad and like this is not the way to go. We had to like draw a line in the sand and be like, we're starting here.
Correct.
So this is where we started.
Correct. And this is something that, like we've said, has been in discussions for
forever,
the better part of 10 years.
Yeah.
And we've only been a part of it for 4.5. And we finally had a board that was willing to bring it forward and vote on it,
right,
and take that stand and that line in the sand, and go from there. So some things from the original draft of the ordinance changed through the discussion. Like, there was going to be a requirement to have a sign in your front yard to notify your neighbors for 21 days. Not that your neighbors could do anything about it or stop you from getting a license.
But just to be irritated for 21 days at you.
Right.
That's all it was going to do.
Right. It was going to create conflict.
Yeah.
So the trustees went around and talked about that, and it was decided to remove that. Was there any other tweaks?
I don't think so.
I think that was the
just
big...
Just the sign, yeah.
Yeah, that was the big one. I had brought up some other issues. I seem to be, as far as some of the board members go, more like, I'm going to use a chicken word, more free range on this. That's a good pun. But man. I'm more open to this than I think some of the others are, and some of the others are more just dipping toes. And I'm speaking with my view here. Please,
yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. So, hey, we got it on the books. We're moving forward. Licenses are going to start being issued for January 1st. And
there'll be a full year. And we're going to start off with 20, and before anyone ever like freaks out, that's always up for, you can grow it. And
Correct.
People can relinquish their license if they think it's not working out, and that'll create one available, and it's somewhere to start.
And Trustee Meyer brought up a good point about the license number and about, well, what about next year? And look, if you're not keeping your chickens in accordance with the ordinance, your license will not be renewed. That's the point. It's about keeping...
It's about keeping the animals safe in the neighborhood.
Correct.
Aesthetically pleasing as well for your neighbors to live in.
Correct. That said, if you're keeping up with the ordinance and you have chickens, then by golly, you're going to continue to have chickens.
Right.
So if
or what if you get chickens and you think that they're too cumbersome and you don't want them? You
can relinquish that license. Yeah.
Exactly.
And as a board, the board can create more licenses. We do this at some points of the year. We do it every board meeting with liquor licenses and gaming licenses. We don't leave liquor licenses on the books. There's court cases about this, but we don't leave liquor licenses available. We create liquor licenses when we need one, and we lower the number when somebody relinquishes one. Same for gaming licenses. So the same can be done here. We started off with 20. If we need to increase it by 10, 20, 50, whatever it need be, we can entertain that when it's time. We'll talk about that. Yep. All
Questions, comments, just email us. I put this right here because don't you put our thing right there?
I can.
Okay, cool.
Oh my gosh, Carrie, you're making me edit. I know.
You got nothing else to do. It's fine.
Right? It's fine. So next up was the village administrator contract amendment. This is for Eric Gunther, our village administrator.
Do you want to speak on this? Because we all know your stance on Eric Gunther.
My stance on Eric Gunther is I voted no on hiring Eric Gunther, and I have voted yes on his contract and the amendments every year.
This is his third.
This is his third,
right, yeah.
And he's doing a good job.
I hope he doesn't watch this.
He probably will get told about this one little clip and watch this 30 seconds.
It'll get edited out.
And I think it's tradition now, every time his contract comes up, I pause before voting, just because
Just to keep him on his toes, man.
keep him on his toes.
Okay.
Because even though the Village of Mundelein does have decorum and seriousness at times, it's okay to be a little silly. So I pause to continue to think about if this is the right decision.
I think it's always worthy of a decision in your head.
That's right. I just want to make sure I'm making the right decision.
Being thoughtful in your voting.
That's right. So, joking aside, he is doing a good job, and he has led the Village of Mundelein into a lot of change in the last few years, lots of growth, and there's a lot on the horizon for the next few years, so I hope we keep him around. So community and economic development, plan and design concepts. Speaking of more growth, this is the bank triangle. Go.
Whew. This is... Wow, you make me like directionally think of things. I'm so directionally challenged. This is off of Holly. It's bordered by Seymour and Park. No. Yes. And Chicago?
Yep.
Oh!
And the railroad tracks, really. Because some of it is entertaining the current DeBruler company owns part of that property, and it's under an RDA.
So basically that whole area except for Karina's.
Yep.
So, and how to develop it and what we should do there and what would be best for there.
Yeah, so they're going to give us 5 different designs, and
then we'll go start pitching them to developers.
That's right. So that's in the process. Exciting times. Next up is sidewalk and curb replacement. So this is an ongoing project every year, and this is a new contractor with a multiple year plan to
keep going on.
Fix sidewalks and curbs.
And some places add them.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
And this year it's focused in Del Webb.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up was snow and ice control services.
Yuck.
I know it is literally the end of August, beginning of September.
Yuck.
But it's also time to start thinking about those contracts from a contracting standpoint. So this is for Zone 7.
Which is a new, I think, isn't that probably a newly created zone? Because isn't it over...
I'd have to go back and look at the map. I forget exactly which zone it is.
Isn't this over by Towns of Oak Creek area?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing. But I looked at it and I can't... Oh my God. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
So we have a lot of these different zones that get contracted out. Not all of them. Some of them stay in-house. You'll still see village trucks out there.
Yes.
But some of the areas, some of the developments get farmed out to different contractors, and this is one of those. And then Hammond Street parking improvements. So there was a lot of growth around Village Hall, and we lost half the village parking lot, half of the Village Hall parking lot, which is needed for services, staff, and we have tenants upstairs in that building. And there was a plan to create more parking along the streets, whether it be diagonal where you pull in or whatnot. And those bids came in way high.
Do you remember what it was?
Like $400,000. Or like $425,000 to $575,000, I think was the range of the bids. And this was not a budgeted project. They put it out to bid thinking that it would be a lot less. And that it was something that we could absorb through excess in the budget in other places. No, not at those prices.
No, sir.
So the board rejected all of those proposals, and we'll revisit that at another time.
Yikes.
Yeah. Okay. Bills were up next. AT&T, we separate that for Trustee Meyer. $1,859.92. And then next up was the governing body bill approval of $1,196,583.92. And that is...
right in the normal range.
Right in the normal range. Perfect. So, Public Safety Committee.
Oh, that's me.
Hey, that's you. What did we do?
There was a motion to kind of... What was it? It was in the police department too.
It was amending the police officer full-time number.
Yes. Thank you. So to change the number of full-time officers we have.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there was any reports. Fire just had their blood drive coming up. When was it? September 9th. Thank you.
Yep. September 9th. Everything is that
weekend. That's a big weekend. It's homecoming weekend too.
Yep.
And then there was no report from police. But yeah, that was it. Quick.
Yeah. Then that was it for the whole meeting. Speaking of the police department, we are hiring. If you are a police officer, we're hiring lateral transfers. And if you are interested in becoming a police dispatcher...
Do you think anybody watches this that's a police officer?
I don't know. Hey, maybe no one.
Hey, man.
Mundeleин's a great community.
Dude,
but we also need 911 dispatchers.
This would be a great place to be a police officer. We support our police officers heavily. Anyways.
We have other positions too.
Okay.
All right. So that's it for Mudline Minute. Hey,
We're
I'm just
not
throwing it out
sponsored
there.
by MPD.
We're not sponsored by anybody. But, you know, we're also one of the larger employers in the village. And
That's fair.
we know that finding good staff right now is hard for lots of businesses.
Everywhere.
Including the village.
Everyone.
So
Yeah.
if you're good, we want you.
Only if you're good.
Only if you're good.
Jesus. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
All right. So the meeting was done at 8:05.
What's going on this weekend? Is there anything going on this weekend?
It's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
But we're not going to probably meet before Mudline High School homecoming.
That's true. It'll be after that.
Yeah, so that's September 8th.
Yeah.
And that's also District 75 Bratfest. Homecoming parade, Bratfest, football game,
There's a lot.
20-year reunion for those people that graduated in 2003.
Do you know anybody?
I'm not sure of anyone. So they're also doing tours of the high school on Saturday morning.
Oh, awesome.
I know, so cool. Not that I know anyone. I'm
No.
much younger than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Way younger.
Way younger.
Yeah.
And then September 9th is the blood drive, and that's it, right?
9 at 9. Be there for the blood drive.
Oh man, you should have pitched that one to Lark. All right, that's all we have. So take care. Drive safe with school back in session too.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Watch the
Signs.
the paths. People have been blowing through those paths, and there's been some
What paths?
accidents, like when you cross over the from the parking lot into the roadway and you cross the bike paths. People are not stopping at those, and there's been some accidents. There was a student that was hit crossing a sidewalk by the high school, so please
Oh boy.
drive safely.
All right. On that note, have a good weekend.
Bye.